Hello again. We're now at the stage where the car will begin to improve as we start to put things back together. So let's take a look at the painting process and finally get to see the colour on the car itself. Firstly, after the bodywork is repaired and flatted, it was masked up for priming. Bumpers, doors, bonnet and light pods were primed separately. This provides better coverage on the parts and also in the joints. In fact, due to prep time, the tailgate and light pods were primed later. Once primed, a dusting of contrasting colour is applied. This is referred to as a guide coat. The purpose is to aid the identification and correction of pits and flaws in the paintwork. As you flat it off with a fine grit, any flaws are highlighted with a contrasting colour. Pits or bubbles can then be filled with stopper, which is actually a fine filler, and then flatted until removed. Once all contrasting colour has been removed, the flaws have been rectified, and you can move on to the base colour. Firstly, you paint inside the shuts, which are the openings or areas which other parts of the car close against, such as around the doors, the boot, and in the Esprit's case, inside the light pod wells. Unfortunately, I didn't capture the stages of the shuts, although you can see here the finish after the base colour, Alchemist and clear coat have been applied. The colour shift looks quite intense. To my eye, the colours were more green than blue, although the gold is a fair reflection. It should also be noted that artificial lights increase the intensity. Outside in natural daylight, the colour shift is not quite so vivid. Here we can see the primed light pods and tailgate. The sides and face of the light pods were painted separately to the other shuts due to the physical space in the spray booth. Next, to achieve the black around the lights on the rear panel, the whole light panel was painted. This was lightly flatted to key and the required black area masked off. I have to be honest, the indent edge on the panel was not very pronounced. This did make masking a little challenging, especially as the fiberglass panels was not perfect either. I did the best of my ability to look even, although on close inspection it's not perfect. The doors, boot, bonnet etc. were all loose fitted and masked for base coat. The rear lower valance was not fitted as it would not be possible to get the angle correct for spraying. The Lotus racing green base coat was applied, and as you can see has already made a big improvement. The real magic, however, doesn't start until the Alchemist is applied. It looks a little flat and dull at this stage, but you certainly get a feeling of what's about to come. Here we are. It's finally got some green and Alchemist on it. Still needs to be clear coated, but it's a vast improvement. I would have to say that from what I can see, the blue is a lot more vivid than I can see in my eyes. On the camera it looks like a blue bonnet, whereas to me the bonnet is mostly green. It's very strange. In fact, I can't get to an angle where the bonnet does look green. Let's just wander around and take it in. Once a clear coat is applied, the colour really comes to life. To me, it's as good as I'd hoped it would be. stage was to add the side decals. What hasn't been in the video so far is I discovered a reaction to the black of the decals while working on the engine cover. It was fine with the white and silver, however, to be safe on the main body of the car, we decided to have a coat of clear coat before applying the yellow. You can see here that after the trial fitting of the Esprit decal based on the later styling font, I decided to redesign them using a squarer font more in line with the original 89 styling, although still dropped the word turbo. The underside of the front bumper had poor coverage, but it was not seen as a problem because it was intended to be blacked off. I started to mask up the front valance for this, and as you can see it provided an impression of a pinstripe. At this point I decided it was not quite what I wanted. There was a problem however, that while trying different positions to edge the black, some of the paint came away when I removed the tape. Obviously this was incredibly frustrating. Basically in the end I decided to leave the black out altogether. The door handles were painted along with the rear valance and now the front intake lip and under the bumper. They look very nice indeed. Next we're into glass, installation and body assembly before finally taking the car home, which will be the subject of the next video. So thanks for watching, I'll see you again.